Hi folks, Mario Morris here, and I'm heading off for a day of foraging with a mate of mine, Ben Spice. And what are we going to be doing today, Ben?
We're going to just go and collect a bit of wild garlic. Probably won't surprise anybody too much. There's a lot of people collecting wild garlic at the moment, but we're going to do something a little bit different than the normal wild garlic pesto today. So yeah, we're going to collect some wild garlic and some ground elder. And that's going to be our green component to our falafels.
Falafels, wild falafels, yeah.
Wild falafels. They're going to be absolutely wild. I might add a little bit of coriander and cumin to them.
Cool.
But other than that, yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. So we've got our first plant down by the creeping comfrey in the garden. It is a wild plant. A lot of gardeners will be ripping it out of their gardens and see it as a weed. But up until probably about 100 years ago, this was one of our most widely used herbs. It's in that carrot family. So one to be careful of, because it could be confused with some other very deadly members of the carrot family. So if you're picking any member of the carrot family, become familiar with hemlock and hemlock water dropwort, and make sure you're not confusing that, because that could be potentially a deadly mistake. But this is a fantastic herb. It can be used like parsley. Want to try a bit of that, mate? It's almost somewhere between coriander, parsley, chervil. You can tell it's a close relation of parsley. You know, parsley's in that carrot family.
Tastes really good.
It's delicious, isn't it? Yeah, very fresh. And that's gonna be basically the parsley / coriander replacement in our falafel mix.
Cool.
Amongst all the cow parsley here, this is also known as wild chervil. This is an edible. Again, this one looks a lot more similar to the parsley you'll get in the shops, or the chervil that you might have seen before. So you can tell it's in that carrot family, and it's also a lot closer to the hemlocks. So, but this is a very tasty edible. It's a little bit more bitter than ground elder, probably a little bit less scope to the kind of things you would want to use it in, and you might want to be a little bit more restrained in your use of that. If there's any bigger, more developed leaves. See, we're in an absolute ocean of wild garlic here.
Wow.
Interdispersed with dog's mercury, so one to be careful of. Another one to be careful of, which is often in the same place as your wild garlic, is the lords and ladies, and this is a bit of a toxic one as well. This will make your mouth really burn, as is that
the King Edward?
I've not heard that name. Lords and Ladies is the name I know. I can't remember the binomial name for it at the minute, the scientific name. But the difference being that that one's got the this one basically goes straight down onto the stem, like it's attached to the stem.
Yeah.
Also, key feature with the wild garlic is that the veins all run along the leaf. So all of the fibres are all running lengthways across the leaf. Yeah, so that's quite different to the lords and ladies, and also the lilies that you could also mix up with the wild garlic. But one thing that you're really not going to find in anything else is this really pungent smell of garlic that you're going to get from the wild garlic. That's a really key feature. That squeaky noise is also quite a nice giveaway. Right, let's get some in the bag. little bit of extra nutrition, we'll have a few nettle tops in there as well. It's such a nice time of year to be picking the nettle tops. I'm just making sure there's no bugs living or anything like that.
Good look at that one.
Everybody should know this one. You should be able to identify very well. Stinging nettle.
Yep. Funny enough, we had a nettle and garlic pesto just last night.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, great with your pasta or what have you. We had fish.
Yeah.
Garlic pesto.
Yeah, probably one of the most nutrient dense plants you can eat. And it's everywhere, you know. We don't have to put any effort into cultivating it. It follows us around. And this is the one of the key ingredients. I'm missing my mushrooms at the minute. I've not found any local mushroom spots yet since I've been up at Coyd. It's not the easiest time for finding mushrooms, and we could be finding chicken of the woods at some point. This is a chicken of the woods, Laetoporus sulphurus. It's a beautiful, highly medicinal mushroom, full of protein, full of a multitude of different health-giving compounds, beta-glucans and polysaccharides and the like. And yeah, as I say, so this was actually found a bit past its best. This was a quite dry old mushroom when I found it, but knowing the benefits of this mushroom, it's when it's fresh, it's really meaty. It really is a fantastic chicken replacement. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan and you come across this mushroom and you're missing your meat in any way, it's going to really hit the spot. Really got a texture like meat, like chicken. But when you find it fresh, it's going to be bright orange on top and sulphur yellow on the underside. Really nothing else that really looks like it. If you Google images for chicken of the woods, Laetoporus sulphurus, it is quite a striking mushroom. Probably one of the most exciting mushrooms. When I first found this mushroom, I was giddy. But as I say, this mushroom, you can find it in such a large quantity that this mushroom that I found back in September last year has kept me going through the winter. And I've been powdering it to like a flour, and then using that to thicken soups, and to bind things in the same way you would flour. And you've obviously got the benefits of this is low carb. This is high protein, beautiful superfood, amazing stuff.
And I'm guessing you're. And we're making falafel with it today.
So this is going to be the replacement for the chickpeas.
Right, yeah. Right.
So I'm going to blitz this to a fine powder. Then I'm going to mix it in. You should always. One thing I should say about chicken of the woods is you shouldn't drink after eating chicken of the woods. It can have a dodgy effect on people when they mix alcohol with this mushroom.
All right.
It's possibly because it has some alkaloids in it, which are very similar to other tryptamine hallucinogens or psychedelic drugs. So that could be the reason why you're getting some interesting effects. But it's basically going to be a replacement for our chickpeas. Blitz it to a fine powder, a consistency of flour, and then basically going to blitz in the wild garlic, the nettles, and the ground elder. And some sumac, which I collected as well whilst in Germany, and that's going to give us the tartness, and that's going to be balled up into little falafel balls.
Cool. Of wild garlic in here is absolutely amazing. Check this out.
So we're just chopping through to make sure that I'm getting through a lot of that fibre in there. Huge amount of fibre going into these falafels. So chop through a lot of that, so you don't end up with any stringy bits when I put it in the blender. You know, it could be quite tempting to just shove it in the blender and hit blend, but you'll end up with all these stringy bits all through it that way. So yeah, in there we got wild garlic, elder, ground elder, nettles. There is a little bit of mint from the garden.
Right.
I could have found some water mint if we were going to be sticking completely to wild plants, but I've cheated a little bit there.
It smells so fresh and good.
Yeah,
Look
exactly,
at that.
exactly. It's spring, and you should be eating
Could
greens.
just shove that and eat it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's what your body's calling for is green stuff. But as I say, thanks to Steve and Matu for providing the mint.
Also found on the land.
Also found on that. Well, the ground elder. That was just round the corner from the ground elder. The mint.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks also to Matu and Steve for not weeding all of the ground elder out. Right. I like my falafels to be super green. You know, you get some of these falafels that sometimes a bit yellowy in the middle and things like that. But I think if you've got enough greenery in there, really makes a difference. Gives that feeling of vibrancy. Really? So we're trying to combine everything now. So in here I've got obviously all of the green stuff we talked about earlier. We've got some coriander and some sumac. I'm going to normally put cumin in it, but these ajwan seeds, part of that carrot family again. A lot of our fantastic spices are coming from that carrot family.
And obviously the white powder is the chicken of the
That's
woods.
the chicken of the woods. It's
Yeah.
been ground pretty much to like a flour.
Yeah.
And then I like sesame seeds. I'm cheating again. I'm going slightly away from the wild stuff. But you could omit these things if you're in a survival situation. But luckily, at the minute, we still have access to some nice Indian ingredients or
Oh, it
non-native
smells
ingredients.
amazing. Oh man, I'm getting really hungry.
Good. So a few gloves of cider vinegar, which is kind of my lemon juice replacement. So you try and keep it more native ingredients. And got it all combined. Added a little bit of water to the mix just to get that nice consistency that it's clumping together, so that we can form it into our falafel balls.
They're big,
Well, we
chunky falafels.
You know what? I think we might do patties because that's it's going to make it life a bit easier, isn't it? That's our chef's taste, mate. Exactly.
Right. I'm looking forward to this already. The smells unbelievable. That's the one thing. So, real deal falafel.
Lovely job. Let's hope they work out nicely.
I have complete confidence and faith. They taste anywhere as good as they smell. Wow.
It would just be nice if you had that crispy texture there.
Grubs up, folks.
The last time I was just excited about food.
So the end result, how's it tasting, folks?
Oh, it tastes amazing. Really good.
So what's in the falafels, Ben?
Chicken of the woods, dried chicken of the woods that I found last year. So it's kept me going all through the winter, and I've just used up the last of it for you guys for these falafels. So yeah, it's dried chicken of the woods powdered, and then it's got loads of wild garlic, bit of
Nettles.
mint from your garden, some ground elder from your garden. Thankfully that you didn't weed all of it out, and nettles. Yeah, that's the bulk of it.